just go ahead and head to National League MVP here. And in that market, Paul Goldschmidt has plus 100 odds at the top of the board. So who is someone who could wrestle that award away from him, Garion?
So I think right now Goldschmidt is definitely deserving of being the odds-on favorite. However, I think one name that's kind of got some interesting odds, and it's interesting because it's his teammate, is Nolan Arenado, who right now is 30-1. Now, I think Arenado's justified in not being one of the top 3 or 4 options at this position currently. However, when you look at WAR, Fangraphs WAR at the very least, it's Nolan Arenado who actually leads the National League at 4.7 wins above replacement, right ahead of his teammate Paul Goldschmidt. And their numbers aren't totally dissimilar on the offensive side of things. I mean, the expected statistics aren't looking amazing for Arenado, but his surface statistics are pretty fantastic. His 149 WRC plus is actually the 6th highest qualified mark in the National League, and it'll probably be the 5th highest mark when Juan Soto is traded, at least if he's traded to an American League team. So I think Arenado's got some fantastic statistics, and with his glove, there's a very reasonable chance that he finishes the year on top of the leaderboard in Fangraphs WAR because of those defensive metrics. And look, the Cardinals have the easiest schedule by win expectancy heading down the stretch of the season. If Arenado just plays better than Paul Goldschmidt for 2 months, I think this number is actually kind of insane at 30-1.
All right, Maddie, I mean, the number that Goldschmidt is at right now in the DK Sportsbook, it's like a perfect example of maybe a train missed. Maybe not a move worth making right now. Who else would you take?
Yeah, I totally agree. So I'm not quite as excited about Arenado. I do think he's interesting, but yes, as in terms of not wanting to bet Goldschmidt right now, 100%. Like this line is so far overcorrected at this point. Like there's just no way you can justify taking even money on Goldschmidt. I think there's a well below 50% chance he wins. Like he should be the favorite, but we should be looking at a market where Goldschmidt is like 3-1, and then a bunch of other guys are 4, 5, 6, 7-1. I think Arenado is a decent call. I think my preferred choice would be Trey Turner. I think there's going to be a bit of a narrative around him where Mookie missed a decent amount of time. The Dodgers could end up with the best record in the National League. And Turner's just been so good lately. Like, it's not so much that I think Turner's resume to this point is that great. It's that if I had to pick a guy who winds up being the best from this point forward, I think Trey Turner is the best player in the National League, just given once you add on that he's a shortstop also, he gets that additional value from his position too, whereas a lot of these other guys are first basemen or outfielders. So I really like Turner a lot. I just think he's going to have a really good second half. And by the end of the season, like I think his WAR could wind up being higher than a lot of these guys.
All right, Nick, so who's your preferred bet for National League MVP right now? Because I think the value here is on the cluster right behind Goldie on the DK Sportsbook.
Yeah, like all due respect to Goldie, he does like deserve to be the favorite, but at the same time, not this much of a favorite, as everybody's been pointing out already. But when you look at what we talked about yesterday was teams that were going to try and make that surge and possibly get and go and win the division, right? And you look at the Padres, I know they're a little farther back than maybe the Cardinals are or the Braves are. Manny Machado, though, he is an interesting case because, no Fernando Tatis this season, he's gone and mashed. But the guy who I really like a lot, we guys talked about the Braves yesterday quite a bit and how they might overtake the Mets. The Mets do Mets things and the Braves are going to win that division. Austin Riley has been at the center of that. He's plus 1,400 right now. 27 home runs, 22 doubles, leads the league in total bases, 992 OPS. If they're going to make a run, if they're going to make a push, he's going to be at the center of that, so he could take over the narrative too.